Hi everyone, this is Mrs. J, and today we're going to be creating and solving inequalities. So first, as a warm-up, go ahead and pause the video and see if you can translate the following scenarios into expressions, and we'll check in a few seconds. Alright, so let's check our answers. So first, half the difference between 3 times a number and 5. So first, let's do the difference between 3 times a number and 5. Difference tells you to subtract. 3 times a number would be 3x and 5. So 3x minus 5, and then half of that, so you multiply by 1/2. Or you could divide the entire thing by 2. This would work as well. 3x minus 5, all divided by 2. That's acceptable as well. 7 more than the quotient of 2 and a number. So the quotient tells you to divide. So quotient of 2 and a number would be 2 divided by x, and then to do 7 more, we simply add 7. Twice the amount of 75% of a number. Remember, to find the percentage of a number, we multiply that number by the decimal of the percentage. So 0.75 x, and then twice means multiply by 2. Okay, so we're going to do a really quick review on basic inequality rules. So first, let's look at the inequality symbols so we know how to read them. First of all, if you ever see this symbol right here, it means not equal. Anything where the closed side of your inequality symbol is pointing to the left, we read that as less than. So this symbol means less than. Notice this symbol simply has that extra line underneath, which means less than or equal to. So we always read it kind of from left to right, just like you read a book. Now, if the left side of your inequality side is the open side, that's the bigger side. So we read this as greater than or equal to. Whenever you're solving an inequality, it's just like solving an equation, except there's one really important rule to remember. Whenever you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, you have to make sure to reverse the inequality symbol. Again, this is only when you multiply or divide both sides by a negative. Okay, so let's try a couple here together just as a quick review. Again, if we're solving for x, we treat it just like an equation. We would add 2 to both sides. 5x is greater than or equal to 9. Then we simply divide by 5. Here we're dividing by a positive number, so we don't need to worry about our inequality sign. So our answer is x is greater than or equal to 9 over 5. Same thing for this one. Let's start by subtracting 8 from both sides. Again, we're subtracting, but that doesn't change the direction of our inequality sign. So we have negative 2 is less than 2 over 3x. So for this, we can clear 2 over 3 in one step by multiplying by the reciprocal, if you'd like, which is 3 over 2. Again, we're multiplying by a positive number, so we don't need to worry about flipping the inequality sign. So here, negative 2 times 3 is negative 6, divided by 2 is negative 3. So we have negative 3 is less than, these 3's cancel out, the 2's cancel out, and what we have left is x. Now this answer is okay, but typically we like to have x on the left. So if I'm going to rewrite this, notice that the open side is facing x. So I actually need to, if I'm going to flip the direction that I write it, I need to make sure that the open side is still facing x. So x is greater than negative 3. All right, let's look at this last one. Here we can start by subtracting 4 from each side. 8 is greater than negative 2x. Now in this next step, look what happens. We're dividing both sides by negative 2. So before I even write the result, I'm going to make sure to flip my inequality sign. So this becomes negative 4, and this becomes x, and then we can read this as x is greater than negative 4. So again, anytime you multiply or divide by that negative number, make sure your inequality symbol is reversed. Okay, so now we're going to see if we can solve word problems that would involve inequalities. So this first example says Trina is buying 12 shirts for the drama club. She will buy blank shirts and then pay an extra charge of $2.75 per shirt to add the club logo. If Trina cannot spend more than $99, how much can she spend on each blank shirt? So let's start by defining our variable. Let's say X equals, if we look at the question, they're asking how much can she spend on each blank shirt. Our variable should answer that. So X should be the cost of a blank shirt. Okay, so remember, now we need to go back and set up the full equation, or in this case, the inequality. So the important thing to note here is that she cannot spend more than $99. So she can spend $99 or less. So anything that she buys must be less than or equal to $99. So the cost of everything else must meet this requirement. So she's buying 12 shirts, and each shirt is going to cost X dollars plus $2.75. So again, the cost of a single shirt is X plus $2.75. Cost of a shirt. Again, X is the blank shirt. $2.75 is the additional cost of the logo. And then she's buying 12 of them. So we need to multiply this by 12 to accommodate all 12. So now we can solve this inequality so we know the maximum she can spend on a blank shirt. So let's start by distributing. So we're going to do 12 times X, which is 12X. And then 12 times 2.75, which is 33, is less than or equal to 99. And then let's subtract 33 from each side. So 12x is less than or equal to 66. So if we divide both sides by 12, we see that x must be less than or equal to 5.5. So how much can she spend on a blank shirt? We would say no more than $5.50. All right, let's try another example together. Sergio needs to buy gifts for 8 friends. He wants to give the same gift to all of his friends, and he plans to have the gifts wrapped, which will cost an extra $1.50 each. If Sergio spends at least $70, he will receive free shipping on his order. How much does he need to spend on each gift in order to receive free shipping? So first, let's see what they're asking us to find. How much does he need to spend on each gift? So that should help us define our variable. X should be the cost of each gift. And then that's not including the gift wrap. So then here, we would like Sergio to receive free shipping. And in order to do that, he needs to spend at least $70. So the cost of everything needs to be at least, which means greater than or equal to $70. Whenever you see at least, it means greater than or equal to. So now we just need to find a way to describe the cost. So let's see if we can find the cost of each gift with the gift wrap. So it'd be X plus 1.5, right? Because the gift will cost X dollars, the gift wrap costs 1.5, and then he's buying 8 of them. So we're going to multiply that by 8. So this should be the cost of all the gifts, including the gift wrap. So let's solve for X. We're going to first distribute. So we have 8x plus 12 is greater than or equal to 70. If we subtract 12 from each side, that gives us 8x is greater than or equal to 58. And then last step, and this gives us x is greater than or equal to $7.50. $7.25. So how much does he need to spend on each gift? He needs to spend at least $7.25. So again, if you're trying to describe the phrase X must be greater than or equal to 7.25, that would qualify as at least $7.25. All right, so let's go ahead and pause the video and see if you can give this problem a try on your own. And we'll check your answer in just a few seconds. Okay, let's have a look. So here I defined V as the cost of a video game. So the cost of the game plus shipping would be V plus $4.75. And then since he wants to buy the same thing for each brother, you multiply that by 2. And then it says that he can't spend more than his budget of $100. So the total cost of both games, including the shipping, must be less than or equal to 100. Because the budget of 100 implies that anything 100 or less will be fine. And then if you solve, we get V is less than or equal to $45.25. So he can spend no more than $45.25 on each game. All right, so let's try another example together. A local newspaper charges a fee of $650 plus $80 per week to run an ad. A local magazine charges $145 per week. For how many weeks must an ad run for the total cost at the newspaper to be less expensive than the cost at the magazine? So you can see that the newspaper has that upfront fee of $650, but it's cheaper per week. And the local magazine has no upfront cost, but it's more expensive per week. So they're asking us for how many weeks must an ad run. So let's define our variable. W equals number of weeks. And then they're saying for the total cost at the newspaper to be less expensive than the total cost at the magazine. So we want the newspaper to be less than the magazine. So now we just need to find a way to describe the cost of each item. So for the newspaper, they start with that $650 fee, and then they charge that extra $80 per week. Remember, per means multiply. So we do 80 times W, the number of weeks. And then for the magazine, they simply charge $145 per week. So 145W. And now we need to solve. So let's subtract 80W from each side. And then let's divide both sides by 65. So we get 10 is less than W, or if it helps, W is greater than 10. So notice here the open side is facing W. So it asks for how many weeks must an ad run? So it must run for more than 10 weeks. So W must be more than 10. So hopefully you can see this type of analysis using inequalities to help us solve might actually be useful for you in real life if you're comparing maybe buying from two different companies that have slightly different types of costs. So you can figure out which one would be more beneficial to your needs. All right, let's do one more example together. So this says, the school band will sell pizzas to raise money for the new uniforms. The supplier of the pizza charges $100 plus $4 per pizza. The band members will be selling the pizza for $7 each. How many pizzas must the band members sell to make a profit? So they're asking how many pizzas. So let's say P equals the number of pizzas. So we want to find a way to describe how they can make a profit. So first, it's really important to understand what it means to make a profit. We can say that making a profit occurs when the money you make is greater than the money you spent. So even if you only made $1 more than the amount that you had to spend to get all the supplies, you still technically made a profit. So let's see if we can find a way to describe these two things. So let's first describe how much money they would make. Well, if they're selling the pizzas for $7 each, the money that they're going to make is $7 times the number of pizzas, which is P. So remember, we want that to be greater than the money they spent on the pizza. So this is how we can describe the money they spent. That supplier, again, they have that flat rate of $100 plus $4 per pizza. So 4 times P, which is however many pizzas they'll decide to buy. So now we can solve for P. So let's subtract 4P from each side. So 3P is greater than 100. So last step, divide by 3, and we get P is greater than 33.3 repeating. So they must sell more than 33.3 pizzas. So hopefully we can kind of use some logic and say, well, it's not even possible to sell a part of a pizza because you sell the pizza as a whole box. So that means that they need to sell 34 or more pizzas, because 34 is the next step above 33.3 and something you can actually sell. So they must sell at least 34 pizzas. And there you have it. Alright, so here is the last problem of the video. Please pause the video and give it a try on your own, and we will check in just a few minutes. Okay, so here I define W as the number of windows because they ask how many windows. And then they want to know when the total cost from Power Wash Express to be less expensive than the cleaning company. So here's how you can describe Power Wash Express. $312, which is the flat cost, plus $12 per window, and the cleaning company charges $36 per window. So if you solve, you see that we get W is greater than 13. If it helps to write it the other way, that might be useful. So that means that they need to have more than 13 windows for this company to be cheaper to hire. All right, so that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.